Hello, my name's Olurotimi Osha. I like talking about US history and American presidents and everything in between. Today I'm talking about everything in between, and that's with respect of the arrest of the uh, former CIA member of the Senior Executive Service. I've done videos discussing how members of the SES are the highest people in the US federal government. So, David J. Rush, somebody who apparently fabricated his credentials, made it all, not only got into the CIA, right? And people are scratching their heads about the porosity, how porous um, the CIA's vetting system could have been to have allowed David J. Rush not only to get in through with fabricated credentials with respect to his education and his false military service. He not only got in, but he also made it all the way to the top, right? The SES are members of their leadership, right, of not just the United States federal civil service, its federal government, but also the respective directorates. Now he got into the most significant, pivotal directorate in the CIA. It's called the Directorate of Science and Technology. He was a leader there. He was in top management, and of course, they found not only gold bars in his house worth $40 million, but apparently he had created a fake CIA spy program, right? A black box program in which he convinced defense contractors to funnel millions of dollars, right, into the program, and also convinced them to buy large sums of gold. Uh, so the Directorate of Science and Technology, by the way, uh, they're crucial in creating technical systems for the CIA, for the government, right? And of course, they develop programs, right? Programs for the CIA and operations. They also are responsible for analyzing and managing the CIA's intelligent agents, right? So it was in a very crucial. It was in the environment that would have been responsible for managing people who got in, people like him, vetting people, making sure everybody was accurate. But the thing is, he got in, he slipped in somehow in the first place, right? In 2009, how did he get in? And I'm wondering. I've discussed the movie The Recruit, right? It looks like the CIA, could they have gotten their script right, their narrative, their script, their MO with respect to David Rush from a Hollywood script of this movie, the Recruit. I'm gonna do another video and just talk in detail about the movie The Recruit. So he makes it through the vetting system. If you watch the movie The Recruit, I watched it a long time ago. I liked it. People didn't like it. It stars Al Pacino. Al Pacino is a top CIA operative, is an instructor, a GS-15. GS-15 is just under the Senior Executive Service, right? And he's a recruiter, and uh, he recruits Colin Farrell, who's playing, a genius guy just graduating from MIT, right? Who developed some kind of uh, computer program, and so they're recruiting them. I mean, the CIA is recruiting Colin Farrell. His name is Clayton, right? In the movie, James Clayton, and they take them to the farm and they're training them. But in any event, let me quickly explain. I think I'm going to do another video, sorry, and just describe the movie in detail because I find it to be an interesting movie. I want to keep this video short, but we see in the script of the movie that the CIA, right, has someone, that's Al Pacino, his character Burke, reveals that there's somebody in the CIA, right, and that's a love interest of. She becomes a love interest of Colin Farrell, whom the CIA was aware had fabricated credentials, right? The background was completely fabricated, was made up, and her name was, in the movies, Layla Moore, right? The profile she presented to the CIA that she was passing off was false. So she was a sleeper agent, right? I've done a video explaining what a sleeper agent is. So she had a fabricated background, fabricated profile, and the CIA knew, but they let her into the program. They trained her, let her into the program, into the farm. The farm is where they train you, right? The CIA's area where they train new recruits. So they let her through the farm, pass her, give her a permanent job, and guess where they place her? They place her in the Directorate of Science and Technology, where this guy was working, David J. Rush, the true guy who's uh, under arrest and facing charges for theft of government property, stealing from the United States, defrauding them, and of course for falsifying his credentials. Maybe there'll be a superseding indictment. Of course, there are investigations going on, but back to the movie, right? So you see, it's kind of bizarre, rather uncanny, that this character, Layla Moore, has a fabricated identity. The CIA knows, ostensibly, right? They apparently know. That's what the character of Al Pacino, Burke, the instructor, is telling Colin Farrell, right? He brings out files, everything that the CIA knows. She has fake bank accounts that, and she has a totally made up background, but the CIA is hiring her anyway, right? They know it, but she doesn't know that they know it. They hired her, and they pass her through the system. They just keep vetting her, pass her through the system, and then eventually place her in the office of in the Directorate of Science and Technology, where in real life David J. Rush was working in, right? And he creates a fake spy program. Spent 17 years in the CIA, passing through the vetting system. So I'm wondering, did the CIA actually borrow or take a script from Hollywood? This movie was done in 2003. I liked it. And there's no book. It's not based on a book. It's actually based on original screenplay by three Hollywood screenwriters. Roger Town is dead now. He's late. Better to say late than say somebody's dead. And then a guy called Mitch Glazer. He's still alive. Mitch Glazer and Kurt Wimmer. So original screenplay. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I'm going to discuss the movie later on, but just so significant for people scratching their heads at, hey, how did this guy make it through the vetting systems? Well, if we follow that movie, The Recruit, it looks like the CIA in one of its numerous smoke screen and mirrors, right? It allows certain people to come in, right? And they're moles, they know that they're moles. As Al Pacino is saying in the movie, he tells Colin Farrell's character that, well, they know she's a mole and they're letting her in. They put her in that Directorate of Science and Technology because they're monitoring her. They want to use her to get to her handlers, right? The whatever foreign government you know, uh, that's uh, that's that's handling her, so they can, basically they're sending false signals, disinformation. They're pretending they don't know. So one of the reasons people don't like that movie is because it's apparently it's got one plot twist after another plot twist. It's like they pull the rug from under you, right? And then you're like, oh, so this is it, and then only to pull the rug from under that rug again. So there's these numerous plot twists, and it's like just gaslighting you throughout the movie. They were gaslighting the recruits as well, and that's kind of like the nature of the CIA. So right away when I saw that, I'm like, look, the CIA is in business of disinformation, right? And I guess they just deceive. They create so many straw man, so many red herrings, decoys that they end up taking themselves, not just everybody in circles and their rivals, but they end up taking themselves in circles as well. But anyway, we're still to be continued. We're still watching, monitoring what's really going on. Chances are that we're going to get a cover up, right? We're going to get but I understand from the news, several people in the CIA have been suspended. They regarding with respect to this, to this fraud operation by David J. Rush. The latest news I read, they've discovered that there are two colleagues that were helping him. What's unclear is, were they unwitting fraudsters? Did they know? Was he deceiving them? But of course, there must have been. Well, he had become a member of the senior executive service, right? He created this false contract, right? He fabricated a contract that was supposed to be from the government and presented to defense contractors, and created this fake black box spy program, right, to funnel millions of dollars. So it's kind of strange, but I just thought I should show the parallel with the movie The Recruit. And I'll do a subsequent video in which I detail the movie. I found it interesting, The Recruit. So, with respect to, well, how did this guy get through the rigorous vetting system of the CIA? Well, there's a Hollywood script that shows us how, right? It was somebody that had a high position in the CIA, and they pretended like, well, we are actually trying to we know this person is has a fabricated identity. By the way, David J. Rush had failed to get into the CIA twice. On the third attempt, they let him in 2009. 2009. So this movie was done in 2003, right? And I'm wondering if people in the CIA, they wanted to see, well, let's let this guy in. What is he? We're going to be monitoring him. What's he up to? That's possible. It's possible that was done. But at some point, they left him in the system, and he not only left him in, he became a big dog, member of the senior executive service. It doesn't speak well. It sort of creates disaffection, right, amongst the American public. If bad actors can simply infiltrate premier spy agency and create fake programs, and represent the United States government for 2 decades. It makes you wonder who else who else has slipped through the cracks, right? In any event, I'm going to stop this video here, and I'll do another video discussing the movie The Recruit, which was very interesting. I'll also discuss uh, our man, our man in Havana, right? Based on the original book by Graham Greene. Graham Greene himself was a former spy for MI6. He was British, right? And our man in Havana is kind of funny because this was someone, he was an agent for British intelligence, but he was creating a fake crisis. He created this fake, he was feeding the intelligence outfit false information, right? False information, and so he could defraud them, right? So he could defraud them. So sort of similar to what this guy is doing. That's David Rush, right? He was, siphoning money from the American people, from the U.S. government with his fake black box spy program. So it's kind of interesting, and yeah, is the CIA relying on the poor scripting, and that's the thing about America, right? We rely on formulas, right? We've become so formulaic, right? Very formulaic that it's it prevents people from thinking deeply, right? We rely so many on so many formulas, easy scripting, right? For instance, there's a script of the person who goes postal, right? That's somebody who, well, a disgruntled employee has grievances, they fire him, and then he goes postal, and he goes and starts shooting up people. And this now becomes like a trope for ordinary Americans to follow without having to rely on their ability to think critically or assess, evaluate things on their own. But I'm going to discuss the two movies, The Recruit and Our Man in Havana, because it's this true life instance of David J. Rush uncannily appears to be a composite, right? A composite of these two movies, right? The Recruit and Our Man in Havana. My name is Oluro Timiosha, and I will keep you posted. Thank you.